What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. As of right now, we are about 11 weeks out from the finishing of the summer shredding competition. So if you guys haven't entered already, be sure you go enter my summer shredding competition at brandonclarkfitness.com/shredding challenge. And today what I'm going to be doing is I thought that it might be good for me to go over with you how I train for aesthetics. Now, first of all, I want to start off just by saying that when a lot of people say train for aesthetics, they usually mean that they don't train very hard and they are not looking to get as huge as possible. But the honest truth is you should be training to build as much muscle as possible. The only difference that training for aesthetics means is that you're prioritizing your weak points and trying to bring them up to create an overall more well-balanced physique. There is no magical split or magical rep range that's going to give you a tiny waist and broad shoulders like David Lade and Alex Eubank, and then another split that's going to make you look like a 5'6", 300-pound stubby bodybuilder. The training to build the most muscle should look all of the same, and unless you're blasting an ungodly amount of gear, you're never going to build too much muscle. Trust me. I'm a natural bodybuilder. I've competed in multiple shows. I have never built too much muscle or said, oh, nope, I don't want to get too big. That's ridiculous. You're not going to get too big. Seems like a lot of guys on the internet nowadays are saying that they train for aesthetics, and basically what that means is they don't train hard. They like to go into the gym because of the trend of it. They like to do a couple sets, get a little bit of a pump on, flex a couple times in the mirror, and then leave and go to their hair appointment. That is not the type of training that I am talking about. And if that is you, you are probably wasting your time in the gym. Now, I did a push-pull leg split for a very long time. And I would say that with most of the clients that come to me, DMs that I get, this is still the most commonly used split. Now, the main problems with the push-pull leg split that I have personally found is that, number one, it doesn't prioritize your arms. So if your arms are a weak point, it can be a big issue. And then number two, it doesn't prioritize your shoulders. And now shoulders are a very important part of developing a very aesthetic physique. You want to have big, massive shoulders. It would be very difficult to build shoulders that are too big. I tried the Arnold split, and the main thing that I found that was the issue with hitting the Arnold split was that training chest and back on the same exact day can be very fatiguing. They're two large muscle groups that require a lot of compound movements in order to hit the entirety of the chest or the back successfully. So I did not like the Arnold split for that reason. It was nice that it prioritized the shoulder and arms on shoulder and arm day, but the fact is back and chest should have their own day. The bro split is pretty solid, but I honestly prefer training muscles a little bit more frequently so that you don't hit, chest and then you have to wait a whole week before you get to hit chest again. I personally just don't find it enjoyable. So how do you develop the right split for yourself to train for aesthetics? Well, first, you have to identify your weak points. For me, it was my shoulders and my back, which is why the best split that I have come up with goes like this: chest and shoulders on the first day, back on the second day, shoulders and arms on the third day, and legs on the fourth day. I have tried a ton of different workout routines and workout splits, and this one is by far the best one in terms of frequency and intensity, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to lay out some sets, reps, and exercises, but don't take this program and follow it exactly to a T, because what you should be doing is you should be adjusting it in order to fit your personal body type, your own weak points, and your own strong points. And keep in mind that none of this is set in stone. A lot of optimal people out there are probably going to look at this program and be like, Brandon, this is way too much volume. This is absolutely ridiculous. You don't need this much volume. The truth is different people need different amounts of volume. Some people are very good at training intensely, while other people are bad at training intensely. They just got into the gym. They have no idea what training to failure even actually looks like. So when I refer to total sets, that could mean a warm-up set for you is is one of the sets, a top set is one of those sets, and then a back off set is one of those sets. The truth is, this program that I'm going to be giving to you right now, I do every single one of the sets to failure. My workouts last around an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and a lot of people would say there's no way you can recover from that, or there's no way you're not overtraining. The truth is, I'm not really overtraining. Am I doing some excess volume that may not lead to any additional growth? Yes. But am I negatively impacting myself? No, because I'm recovering totally fine. And at the end of the day, I really do enjoy training. So if I'm not in there for an hour and a half to 2 hours, I just don't like it. I want to be in the gym for longer. I enjoy training and getting a pump. So for the chest and shoulder day, this is how I would personally go about structuring. I always start off with a heavy compound movement like the bench press. I'll do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Now, if you are trying to prioritize your upper chest, I would recommend switching exercise number 1 and number 2. Put your incline movement first, because after the bench press, I like to go into some sort of incline press to target my upper chest. I'll do 3 sets of about 10 to 12 reps. Now, whether that's an incline hammer press, whether that's a Smith machine incline press, it doesn't matter a whole lot. It comes down to preference after that. What I would do next is I would go into an isolation exercise that's going to give me a little bit of a break when it comes to like the high fatigue exercises, like the compound movements we were just performing. And I'll do an incline cable fly for about 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. I really focus on squeezing with those. It's not about moving a ton of weight, but going all the way to failure on pretty much every single set of the isolation exercise. For number 4, I'd go into dips, because dips is just a great chest exercise overall. I love them. If you need to do them weighted, do them weighted. If you need to do them assisted, do them assisted. 2 sets of 12 to 15 reps. And then I superset that with lateral raises. Now, when it comes down to supersets, pick 2 exercises that you enjoy bouncing back and forth between, because some you will find if you superset, an incline press with a bench press, it's going to affect how the other exercise goes. With something like lateral raises, you're targeting the lateral head of your delt. That's not going to affect how many dips you can do. So I like to superset that. It makes for a great pump. So find exercises that you like to do together and superset them if you can. After the dips and the lateral raises, I move into a decline press machine. I do about 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps, not the actual decline bench press. Not really a big fan of that movement personally, but any sort of decline pressing movement is going to be fantastic to sort of end off your chest work. And then I like to go into a neutral grip overhead press for 3 sets of 10 to 12. Once again, that is just an example of a shoulder exercise that I like to do on my chest and shoulder day, because what I have found is that when it comes to shoulder training, my shoulders respond a lot more to frequency over having like a singular shoulder day. What I find is that when I do one shoulder day, I tend to get a lot more shoulder impingement and shoulder tightness, and my shoulders tend to give out pretty quickly. So which is why I like to train my shoulders more frequently but have less volume. And then if your triceps are a weak point, add in an exercise of triceps in here. Personally, my triceps aren't a massive weakness, and they tend to get pretty toasted after a whole workout like this, so I don't add any of that in. Into my back day, this is how I would go about structuring it. So I always like to start off with something where you're pulling down. So whether it's doing pull downs or you're doing pull ups, I really like stretching the back first for the first movement of the workout. So I'll do pull downs about 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. Now, after the back is all warmed up, after my mind muscle connection is set, I like to go into something like a T-bar row or a heavy rowing compound movement. When it comes to the choice, it depends on which one you like the most. If you want to do supinated barbell rows, that's totally fine. If you would like to do pronated barbell rows, that's totally fine. I personally prefer the T-bar. I absolutely love it. It's just a great exercise. So 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps on the T-bar row. That's going to target your whole back, but it's going to get your rhomboids and your traps involved a little bit more depending on how you do it. But your lats will still be active. Now, my biggest lagging point on my back is my lats. So I like to go into some pullovers after that. I do 3 sets of 15 to 20 reps, and then I like to do a lat biased row. So something like the standing single arm hammer strength row is one that I really, really love to do, just to really finish off my lats, just get them absolutely toasted. This machine, if I do it properly, I'll actually be cramping up a little bit after my workout. I do 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps on that, and then I'll move into a chest supported row. So a chest supported T-bar row or a bench chest supported row. Those are all great. That is going to target your upper back more, your traps and your rhomboids, and finish those off. And then what I like to do is I actually like to move into rear delts, hit a little bit of rear delts and traps at the very end, because I prefer spreading out my delt work, like I've said. So I'll hit a little bit of delts on my back day, but I'll also hit a little bit of rear delts on my shoulder day. So I'm spreading out all of the shoulder work. So I like to do reverse pec deck, 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps or so. And if your biceps are a weakness, add in some bicep work at the end of your back workout. I personally do not have a problem with my biceps. They are a pretty good body part on me, so I don't add them in, and I just take this day to wholly focus on my back. And next up is going to be the shoulder and arm day. So this is how I go about structuring my shoulder and arm day. So as you can see, I always start off with an overhead press or some sort of heavy overhead press. Usually for me, my favorite one is the seated Smith machine overhead press. I do that for 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. So that pretty much cooks my front delt. And you already hit your front delt a little bit on the chest and shoulder day, so you don't need to do all that much. So I do the overhead press there, and then I'll move into 3 bicep to tricep supersets. Now, a lot of people complain to me. They say, Brandon, I hate training my biceps. It's super boring. It's not as much fun as my chest or my back. If you are bored when you train arms, superset it with tricep movements. I can't tell you how much fun it is to have a bicep and a tricep pump at the same time and just be absolutely blowing out of your sleeves. Like, I absolutely love it. So what I do is I do a bicep movement, and then I switch to a tricep movement, back to a bicep movement, back to the tricep movement, back to the bicep movement, and back to the tricep movement. I do that 3 different times with 3 different exercises for biceps, 3 different exercises for triceps. For example, I might do preacher curls, spider curls, and hammer curls. And then for the tricep exercises, I would do tricep extensions, skull crushers, and overhead tricep extensions. So those are the 3. And I would just switch off between them. So pick your favorite bicep exercises, whether it's decline curls, normal barbell curls, hammer curls, whatever it is. Put those 3 bicep movements along here. Put the other 3 tricep movements along here and superset back and forth between them and do 3 sets of 12 to 15. My arms are always shot after 3 different supersets of arms. And usually you can move pretty quickly. I take pretty much all of my sets to failure because with your arms, they're pretty small muscles, so it's not too fatiguing. When it comes to moving back into the shoulders, I like to do some lateral raises. So we already did lateral raises on the other day. So now we just have to do, I like to do 5 sets of 12 to 15 reps on some sort of lateral raise, whether it's on the cables, whether it's on the machine. You can split it up into 2 different exercises if you would like to, but I do 5 sets of 12 to 15 reps because when it comes to shoulder training, guys, shoulder training is very simple. You can overhead press, you can do some sort of lateral raise variation, and you can do some sort of reverse fly to hit your rear delts. So here's the deal. Yeah, that's what you have to pick from. I like to keep my shoulder training very simple. I do not get fancy with it. I do overhead press and lateral raises. That is it. It comes down to the frequency that I perform them at. I perform them frequently because I'm hitting them on my chest and shoulder day, but I'm also hitting them on my shoulder and arm day. And then last off, I end off the shoulder and arm workout with more rear delts because I've already hit that a little bit on my back day, but now I like to hit it a little bit more, and I'll do 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. All right, you guys, so for the last day in the split, legs, this is how I would personally go about arranging my leg day. So I always like to start off with some sort of squat. I'll do 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Now, if this is a hack squat, if this is a barbell squat, if this is a Smith machine squat, it's totally up to you, and it's going to depend. If you do a barbell squat, you have to be aware of your leverages because some people are going to be getting a lot more glute and hamstring work depending on their leverages and how they squat, while other people are going to be getting a lot more quads. So I personally like to use the squat as more of a quad focused workout. So I like to do preferably some sort of hack squat. So if I'm doing hack squats, I do 4 sets of 8 to 10, and then I'll move into a leg press. I really do like leg press. I think that the most common problem with it is people really don't want to take it to failure. A lot of people train like pussies when it comes to their leg presses. It's very, very hard to actually do a leg press set all the way to failure. So I like to do 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. It's a great exercise. It's just very misused. When it comes to the third exercise, I like to finish off my quad. So I'll do quad extensions or sissy squats. I'll do 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps. And then I'll move into the posterior part of my training where I'll focus a little bit more on the glutes and a little bit more on the hamstrings. So I'll do hip thrusts. I'll do 3 sets of 8 to 10 just to get the glutes and hamstrings really firing. And then I'll move into RDLs where I'll do 2 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Now, the RDLs, this is where I actually get some of my back work in, because a lot of people say only go down to a certain point where you're engaging your glutes and your hamstrings. I go down really deep with my RDLs. I go down as deep as I can. And guess what I get involved? I get my back involved. And my back is one of my biggest weaknesses. And I don't deadlift on my back days. I don't deadlift, period. So my RDLs are a great workout for my back. I feel it in my erectors, in my traps, my lats. I feel it everywhere. I legitimately get a back pump when I do my RDLs, but I also feel it a lot in my glutes and my hamstrings. It's exhausting, so that's why I only do 2 sets of 10 to 12 reps. And then I'll move into hamstring curls to really isolate the hamstrings and finish those off. I'll do 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps, and then I'll add in adductors at the very, very end. I know this is a lot of exercises. It's quite a bit of sets, but I'm pretty toast after my leg day. It usually takes me around an hour and 45 minutes, but I'll do 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps on the adductors. And the adductors, guys, this is one of the biggest parts of the physique that is neglected by people who want to train for aesthetics. Your adductors make your legs look so much bigger. It gives your legs the appearance that they are so much thicker, and if you are not training adductors, you are really, really missing out. Your legs could be looking a whole lot bigger than they are right now. So do some adductor work, 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps. So guys, this is just an example of how I personally go about training for aesthetics. Now, take what you will from this video and do what you want with it. If the volume is too much, that's totally fine. If you would like to try to perform the sets, I would really recommend starting out with just doing 1 to 2 sets per exercise all the way to failure. But when it comes down to it, make sure that you enjoy the training split that you are doing, and make sure that you are prioritizing the things that need to be prioritized, because that is how you train for aesthetics. You try your best to bring up your weak points. And this split right here is just how I have personally, throughout the years, this is how I have found to be the best way at maximizing the intensity that you can train at and the volume and frequency of hitting the muscle groups. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a comment and a like down below. Ensure you hit subscribe to the channel if you're new. Right now, I'm currently prepping for my bodybuilding show, so I'm trying to put out 1 YouTube video a week. So I hope that you guys are finding this information useful, and let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I'm genuinely curious if there's a lot of people that think this is way too much volume, if they don't like it. But this is my favorite split by far. I have tried so many different ones out, and this one has worked for me consistently the longest. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to use code BDON on Young LA and Rise supplements to help your boy out. Prep is starting to get real. I'm almost down to 200 pounds. So I can't wait to get shredded, and I can't wait to keep recording the journey. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace.